All right. The next synonym for courage is compassion. I thought this one was kind of interesting that it was up in courage. Uh, but I get it. Courage is the first higher level feelings. If you look at the chart of emotions that Lester Levinson, Sedona method, David Hawkins came up with, and courage is the first of the higher state of emotions where you start to consider other people. Get out of it's all about me and open to other people, what their needs are. So compassion. The memory that came to me was, remember there's I live in Hollywood. There's always been a lot of homeless people here. They come here for whatever reason. It seems like a lot of them just come here to because that's where the drugs are, but I'm not really sure, what the full story is, the full reasons for why they're all here. But this is, I don't know, like 5, 6 years back. And I was walking down Hollywood Boulevard and made a left on Vine. I was walking by this Trader Joe's. And there's often people standing out here selling things. There's homeless people asking for money. And I walked by, and there was this guy. I'm not really sure how old he was. He could have just been in his 20s, but looked maybe early 30s. Looked pretty run down. As someone who used to be on a lot of drugs, uh, specifically painkillers. Seemed like that was kind of the same realm where he was at. He looked bad. Best way to put it. Looked worn out, bad, shut down, tired, barely any life. And he asked, and I was walking to the bank. I was walking to the bank to deposit money, and that was pretty much all the money I had at that time, a couple $100. And as I'm walking by, because I wasn't working back then, and so I was walking by, and he asked me if I could help him get something to eat. I was really focused on my my task. I was like, I'm going to the bank. I'm going to deposit this. So when he asked me, I was like, I don't really have time, but right now. But when I come back, I'll see what I can do. So I went to the bank, which wasn't that far. It was probably like 15-minute walk away. Deposited the money, and I walked back, and he was there. So I stopped, being a man of my word. Did have judgments about him at first, but he just asked for food, and I was like, okay. He's not asking me for drugs. He's not trying to hustle me into buying some mix CD. Guy was just literally asking for food. So I was like, all right, bro, come on, let's go get some food. And at first he was like, oh, like he couldn't believe that I was serious. And I came back and I was willing to go and buy him some food in this Trader Joe's. And I just stood there and I waited for him. And we walked in. And I started talking to him. I figured just, you never know what connection does. It could really help somebody in a way that is inexplicable. And I didn't look down on him or anything like that. I didn't make a big deal that he was clearly homeless, not looking too great, or that he did drugs. I just talked to him, asked him where he's from, walked around with him, did my best to make sure I treated him like a human rather than something that was less than or something that was wrong. And this guy, I forget his name now, we're walking around and he literally got a banana and what was it? A jar of peanut butter. That was it. It was like $6-7. And I was like, and I said, hey man, like, no, let's get you some more stuff than that. That's not enough. That's just gonna help you right now for a little bit. Don't you want something to drink? You could get some stuff for later tonight. And he was embarrassed, I think, a little bit. And he insisted no. And I was like, all right, bro, I'm going to insist yes. So it finally gave in. And, like, literally, it was like pulling teeth to get this guy to spend $20 on himself on food. He didn't ask for beer. He didn't ask for any sort of alcohol. And so I just got him $22 worth of food, paid for it, talked to him a little bit, asked him where he was from. And then I decided, like, I was like, a lot of people at that time were upset that there was homeless people around. It's a little different than it is now. Like, there's a very high amount now, to the point where it's kind of flooding the city. This was just homeless people back then. It wasn't glorified. There wasn't a bunch of laws to invite people from all over the world to come here. These were just Hollywood homeless people. They come and go. And I remember there was a lot of people in my neighborhood, not everybody, but there were people that were just like constantly like, these people should die, fuck them, like really hateful stuff. Not just normal like anger, but like really hateful stuff, which I didn't agree with. And I mean, no matter how angry I am or inconvenienced I am, I don't think people should be treated like that just because they're homeless or on drugs. That's a whole other topic. But so I asked the guy, I'm like, hey, I'd love to just take a picture of us together and just post it so people can see you're a normal person. You're not here to hurt anybody, that you're very respectful. And all you're asking for was some food. Like, what's wrong with that? To try to, shed a little bit of more humanity on the subject, since there was a lot of anger at that time in my neighborhood towards these homeless people. And he said, yes, this wasn't about me trying to get attention or anything like that. It was genuinely coming from my heart. It was coming from compassion. And so we took the picture, and I was really feeling some stuff. I also felt like, man, I'm gonna never see this guy again. He could be dead tomorrow. He could be dead tonight. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's living a life that's gonna be very long. And so I left with those feelings. And I posted this picture of me and him together, saying he was a great guy. He's human too. And it was nice meeting him. And I didn't think anything of it. That's it. It was literally, that was the whole point of me posting it. And Also, around that time, I had made a commitment to myself to do this workshop called Path of Love. It was it's a workshop for embodiment, letting go of trauma, um, opening the heart. It's a lot of stuff that I was uh, could use at that time, and I didn't know how I was going to get there. I wasn't working. I literally had no idea how I was going to get there. I was going to figure a way out, make it happen, and I had asked a few people, like, hey, if you have anything I can do, even if it's just babysitting, I'll do it. I'm trying to raise money so I can go to this workshop. I really want to explore it. And that was like a couple weeks ago, before this, maybe 2, 3 weeks. And before I met this homeless guy and posted his picture. And so I posted the picture, and then one of the people that I had asked if I could, work, if they had any work. I guess I never really focus on other people's money, but I guess they're doing financially well. And they saw this picture, is my guess, because that night I got a call from the workshop people, and they're like, "Oh, someone decided to pay your tuition, but they'd like to remain anonymous." And it blew my mind. I started crying a little bit that someone would help me like that, because it was like $3,000. I mean, it's not cheap. And all I had to do was come up with the flight money. And I'm not surprised that all of that was connected. One was me committing to growth, to love, to healing, and doing whatever it took to get there. And just meeting this guy, being compassionate, being caring, loving, treating him like he had a heart as well. It's all in the same vein. And somehow that energy carried forward, and it helped me, without my knowledge, get to this workshop, which this workshop really opened me up. It's the first time I truly got the sense of how much trauma was stored in my body from childhood. It really started opening things up for me on a physical level, on an embodiment level. And it was amazing, like all of that was together, and compassion was a deep part of it every step of the way. The compassion I had for that guy, compassion someone had for me, to help me out to get to this workshop, the compassion of all the people there to help the people there. And none of that would have happened without the energy of courage. It started with that commitment, with that, I'm going to make this happen. I just said, I want to do it. I'm going to do it. And then just following it. So that's today's synonym: compassion for courage. Going to a Halloween party tonight. Going to dress up as a clown. I love dressing up as a clown. You get to play with people a little bit. It's fun. All right, I'll see you tomorrow.